University of Louisville basketball coach Rick Pitino is a two-time national champion. He is going into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame this fall. And he's a happy dad and husband and grandfather and enjoying his life, but basketball never stops, does it, Coach P?
It doesn't. We spend probably 4 out of 7 days a week in the month of July just evaluating talent, seeing if there's a sleeper out there that we could get in with. But pretty much it's according to what we thought right now. We're just following about 8 or 10 players in the rising senior class, 10 or 12 players in the rising junior class, and you pretty much just follow their progress, how they matured from sophomore to junior year and from junior year to senior year.
And you've been on this momentum wheel the same way for so many years, looking a couple of years ahead while thinking about your current situation. But with a fresh national championship, it brings a different perspective to living rooms, doesn't it?
It does. But, Terry, I think it's not only the national championship, but I think these guys, from speaking with parents, all the parents really like the way this team carried themselves. And that's a big thing. They really like the way they pulled for each other. They really like the way they carried themselves. And, right now we're trying to figure out, okay, in our estimation, this could be the last year of, say, Montrez or Shane. So we have to bring in an impact player at that position. So that's the way we sort of think. If it's not their last year, okay, then the person comes in and learns behind them. So we've got to... You have to figure that out, or you're going to be in a rebuilding mode, and that's the one thing we don't want to do.
We talked about Shane last time you were on here, so if you wouldn't mind giving us some updates on some of the guys here. I know you're doing individual instructions, so Shane and Montrez and Luke, I know they were away, but how's everything rolling now?
Well, Shane wasn't away. Shane was here. The guys are – I'm very, very impressed with our freshman class, and I say Chris Jones being part of that. Chris Jones is everything you would think of as a junior college player of the year. He's a 5'9", dynamite little player. Very, very tough, offensively minded, knows how to really play the game both offensively and defensively. When you get a junior rather than a freshman, he's much more physically and mentally mature. But the other two freshmen, Anton Gill and Terry Rozier, are also extremely talented, playing real well. We're having actually team practices, not individual instruction. Montrez Harrell's probably in the best shape on the team. The two biggest surprises on the team, I would say, is Stephen Van Treese and Wayne Blackshear. Both have really altered their bodies. They're both very strong. Wayne has really, really worked hard on getting back into the type of player he was in high school because he had those 2 shoulder injuries that set him back, but I'm really, really impressed with the progress Wayne has made as well as VT.
SVT was a strong guy already, so what other improvements is he showing you?
He's just got his body. He's 245 pounds. He's probably only 7% body fat. He's very agile. He's improved his offensive game. I'm very, very impressed with him, Mango. Montrez is playing at a different level. I'll tell you an interesting story that Billy Donovan told me, which really shocked me, but you never know who's going to be a leader. It's obviously you could sort of guess that Peyton Siva, when you recruited him, would become a leader. Montrez Harrell is now playing for Billy Donovan overseas, and 2 players come in late for one of the initial meetings. And immediately Billy chastised them, and then Montrez got the group together and said, "That's not going to happen anymore. You guys be early for every meeting." And he spoke up, which is totally out of character for Montrez Harrell. And Billy was blown away by his physical improvement and his mental improvement from a year prior when Montrez played for Billy as well. So that was a great sign, and I've been noticing that in practice as well. Montrez Harrell's taken a big leadership role in this basketball team.
And he's a shy guy, as you note, so that's got to be difficult for him. So with that,
well, not anymore, Terry. He's not shy anymore. He's one of the biggest cheerleaders now, and totally different and I think that's because of his confidence is really coming out. And he feels right now he can take a leadership role. He backs it up with his play. Nobody works any harder than him, so he feels he can step up and be a leader.
both he and Luke out on these other teams, and that doesn't grind their wheels too much over this time of year when usually a guy's not spending that much time in organized basketball. But you're cool with that?
Well, he flew through tonight, and he didn't have to practice. We had one of our practices last week. Flew through tonight, came in the weight room in the morning, and practiced with us that afternoon. So he's someone extremely motivated right now. We have a great team chemistry, a great team attitude. Guys are not content. Guys want more. They're very motivated to get better. So I'm very excited about this group.
You mentioned the guys Anton and Terry Rozier. What happens without Gorgie and Peyton? How do these guys fill in spaces that they brought, both emotionally and physically, talent-wise?
You never know right now. Summer basketball is different than regular season. We're working very hard on our fast break, on our defense, and some of the things we're doing right now with full court pressing. But they're all very athletic. This is a very athletic basketball team. But you never know until Luke comes back and you see all the guys together. You can't even – I couldn't even tell you right now, honestly, who I would start with this basketball team. I couldn't even fathom who we would start. That's how close in talent they all are.
Well, that's always good. That's a good problem to have, as they say. All right, Kevin Ware tweeted today that he's doing leg presses. Is that on the schedule?
Well, he's not supposed to tweet, Terry, so he's in a little bit. You just ratted him out, and he's in a little bit of trouble with that. So.
No, not me.
He's going to have his little tail busted tomorrow morning. But no, he's doing leg pressing. He's coming, and he's not allowed to tweet. So we're going to possibly take away his phone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin Ware. Sorry about that.
We would have found out, Terry. Don't worry about that.
But he's on the path that you thought in terms of healing.
Yeah, he's doing fine. He's it's a long injury to come back from, but you'll come back from it probably better than like an ACL or something like that. It's just the bone's got to heal, and I would say by August 1st, his bone will be healed, and he'll start doing more things.
Very good. All right, and Gorgie signed his deal today.
Gorgie signed his deal, and we expect Peyton to make the Detroit Pistons. For our fans out there, don't let the fact that they signed Chauncey Billups or anybody else. Peyton has a great future. I've been in contact with the Detroit brass, and he has a great future with the Pistons, and we're very optimistic he's going to make that team.
All right, we had a little break right there. You've been in contact with the Detroit brass. Is that what you said?
Yes, with the Detroit management.
Very good. And so you feel like Peyton is a certainty to make that roster, or very strong?
There's no such a thing as a certainty because of trades, but I feel very comfortable that Peyton Siegel will be in a Detroit uniform.
All right, since there have been so many parallels made, too, Rick Pitino, Brad Stevens is the new coach of the Celtics. What are your impressions about how he's going to be able to go in and handle that situation?
Well, I'm very fond of Brad. He's a good friend. I think the world of him. Certainly, they know that it's going to be a patient situation, that they traded all their players, and he's for the future and building it. Have the utmost. It all comes down to what offenses and defenses you run, whether you're a good pro coach. And Brad he runs a lot of pick and rolls, which are NBA related. He's a very good defensive coach. I thought it was almost a perfect choice. I don't think of anybody they could have hired better than that. So I thought it was a perfect hire.
But most people are talking about how shocked they were, but you were not?
No, not at all. I don't think Brad, they were going into the Big East, and that's a big move for Butler. And I think Brad has interviewed, people don't probably know, but Brad probably has had 4 or 5 other NBA interviews. And, like myself, only he's much younger. If it doesn't work out, he can always go back to college basketball. There would be 200 schools waiting in line to hire him. So I'm hoping it does work out. I'm hoping he has great success, but he can always go back to college basketball someday if he doesn't like it.
All right, and Coach Pitino, you have yet another trip to the White House for a national championship, jersey presentation to the incumbent president, Barack Obama, this time. Are you excited about that? And will all the guys be able to make the trip?
They will, and I'm very excited because it's a lifetime experience to meet the president and go into the White House and meet members of Congress, and it's an educational experience as well as a great honor to meet the president and first lady, and it's very much an educational trip and a once in a lifetime experience for the players. So I'm very excited about it.
Very good. After that's over, what happens for you in terms of the U of L basketball program after next week? What mode are we in now? Are you off the trail for a while?
No, we'll leave believe it or not, we'll leave the White House. The three of us will drive to Baltimore, get on a flight to Las Vegas, and Las Vegas will have 1,000 high school basketball players competing, and we'll be there for 3 or 4 days. We'll take a red-eye home to go to Peyton Senior's wedding, and we'll be on the road until then.
Very good. A lot of people were saying they saw you and John Calipari jousting, having fun with each other the other day in Augusta, Georgia. Is a Peach Jam? What was going on there?
Yeah, the Peach Jam in Augusta.
Yeah, were you and Coach Cal having fun teasing each other or something?
No, not at all. We were just talking, laughing together, and certainly John's a friend like Tom Izzo and Coach K. We all speak, we all fraternize, we all get along great. The only time it's a different experience is when you're playing against each other. Then you're trying to win the game. But outside of that, we're all very close friends, and we fraternize. You
guys don't razz each other about various recruits like Izzo or Coach K or Calipari, any of those guys. You don't say, "I got that guy. Forget about him."
No, we're really superstitious. We don't. We're all very humble about that because, recruiting is actually, Terry, much more competitive than the actual game that you play. Recruiting is really is competition at its best. I mean, you realize that the recruit you're bringing in dictates probably your future. So we understand at Louisville that we're going to, if we don't get our first choice, we'll get our second choice, and that's going to be a very good basketball player. So it's key that you evaluate the right type of talent to fit your system.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time. I know your book's coming out soon. People are excited about that because you sort of go through the whole year, this championship year, and how the chemistry of that team produces great results.
Well, it's not really, Terry, about the season, but the season does come into play in the book. It's really about developing a philosophy and that I believe in. And 3 years ago, I said to myself, if I'm going to continue in this business, I'm going to live on a one-day contract. Everybody says, how long are you going to coach? And I said, I'm living on a one-day contract, that every single day I'm signing a contract to make it the best day I can possibly do it. And this is sort of how to get the most out of your abilities. What steps do you take to get the most out of each and every day?
Yeah, that's what it's called, one-day contract. Great to talk to you, Coach P. We'll see you soon.
Great, Terry. Thanks.
That's Rick Pitino live here in Louisville. They're headed to the White House a week from tomorrow with the national champions meeting with the president.